A move from Western Canada to rural Nova Scotia has left Barry Ruger with sticker shock.
It is so expensive, and we know that for the long run, we really can't afford to pay that much.
Last winter, it cost Ruger nearly $5,000 to fill up his home heating oil tank. Ottawa's pause of the carbon tax to help people like him may not be enough.
I think they need a lot more help than just a few cents a liter on their heating oil.
Federal data shows just 3% of Canadians use oil to heat their homes. The numbers are a lot higher in Atlantic Canada.
Nobody can say that it's being implemented fairly today.
That's left other provinces frustrated.
The way to do that is for the Prime Minister to do the right thing, to be fair to all Canadian families, and to extend his carbon tax pause to all sources of heating oil.
That's where the Conservative leader comes in.
Who's ready to axe the tax?
Pierre Poilievre has a motion before Parliament to apply the tax break to all forms of home heating.
I think it's okay if we recognize that some policies have a disproportionately positive impact on some regions of the country.
The Prime Minister announced a 3-year tax pause surrounded by Atlantic Canadian MPs, arguing it gives people time to switch to heat pumps. That's something every Canadian on oil can benefit from, says a senior minister from the region.
This is a smart approach to move forward with the transition towards heat pumps and to see if we can get off home heating oil as a country altogether.
Ruger's open to a subsidized heat pump, but
the paperwork involved is just overwhelming to get into any of these programs.
Poilievre's motion to expand the carbon tax pause isn't expected to pass, but the fight isn't over. Some premiers are threatening to withhold the levy until there's a nationwide reprieve. JP Tasker, CBC News, Ottawa.
The carbon tax is likely on the agenda in Halifax, where Canada's premiers and territorial leaders are meeting. The main focus of the summit, though, is tackling the healthcare crisis. Kate McKenna is outside the provincial legislature, where leaders are gathering tonight. And Kate, do we know any potential healthcare strategies the premiers are going to be putting forward?
Well, so far the big issue that we've heard is that there are simply not enough healthcare workers. So they're looking at solutions that target training, recruitment, and making sure that people's credentials, if they're trained internationally, are recognized here in Canada.
The need to really bring up additional health professionals to make sure that people get the care they need in communities across our province. I know it's a national issue, and we want to make sure we're not eating each other's lunch by outbidding each other for health professionals, and that we're training in a coordinated way across the country.
So other big issues include housing and infrastructure, also likely on the agenda.
Absolutely, and affordability is one we've heard multiple times, including from Manitoba's new premier, who says for him, it's right up there with healthcare.
I think both are really important. Like, we just came out of an election, and it was like issues 1A and 1B in terms of healthcare and lowering costs for the average Manitoban.
And of course, the other big issue is how the carbon tax will play out in these meetings. We know that some of the most vocal criticisms of the carbon tax come from premiers, including the premiers of Saskatchewan, Ontario, and Alberta. So how that plays out remains to be seen, but we are expecting to hear from the premiers after their meetings.
Kate McKenna in Halifax tonight.